It's Television Man.
Hi, I'm Inga Middleton with Arlington Independent Media. I am in Joe's Place, Pizza and Pasta, and I'm sitting here next to Rosario Farruggio. Hello, Rosario.
Hi.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Thank you for having us.
Sure.
Did I get your name right?
Yes.
It's a great name.
Thank
Very
you.
Italian, right?
Very Italian.
So, can you tell me what your involvement is with Joe's Place?
So, well, I've been involved since I was 12 years old, but now I'm the general manager.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. And who are the owners?
The owners are three brothers, my dad and my two uncles. My dad's name is Calogero, and then there is Vincenzo and Giuseppe. And Giuseppe is Joe in Italian.
Oh, I see. Okay. So he's the one that the store is
Yeah,
named
so the
after.
restaurant is named after Joe, correct.
Now, how did Joe's Place come to be?
So it came to be when Joe was working, Giuseppe was working in New York. He was making pizzas in New York. And he came down to Virginia and saw that there was a great opportunity to have New York pizza here in Virginia. He then asked his brother Vincenzo to partner up. They did, and then they asked my dad to partner up. And at that time is when I was little, and we came from Italy just to, pursue that opportunity.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that is what drew your family to the United States?
Yes.
From
yes, correct.
where?
From Palermo, Sicily.
Palermo, Sicily. Okay, beautiful. And so did you move straight to Arlington?
Yeah, we moved straight from Sicily to South Arlington, Arlington Village, and went to elementary, middle, and high school all in Arlington.
Oh, so you're a local student.
Yeah, I was in Abingdon Elementary, then Kenmore Middle School,
Right.
and then Yorktown High School.
Ah, that's a wonderful story.
Yeah, yeah.
So, what sort of food do you describe this as?
So we have a mix of New York style pizza and New York style foods and New York style pizza, and then Sicilian pizza and Southern Italian foods. So our subs, our pizza is very New York, but then we also have the thick crust pizza, which is very Sicilian. And then we have our soup and our entrees are Southern Italian, the minestrone, the parmigianas, but the calzone and the subs and the thin crust is very New York.
Right.
So those two combinations.
Okay. And I know you have a salad bar.
Yeah, the salad bar, that's also very American. Very, very fresh salad.
Right.
Tomatoes in a vine, the European cucumbers, romaine lettuce.
But
really
you don't
good.
see that very often in Arlington. This is kind of unique to
Yes.
this area, I think.
Well, this place is very unique because our clientele is very diverse. We have little kids that come with their baseball team or soccer or any sports team. We have, the everyday workers that come for lunch, families, young people, old people.
So you have a lot of parties here, end of the season parties that's great. My own children have done that, I know, it's been fun. And so how do you have, I know your menu has a lot for children, and what else do you have for adults? I know there's a lot of wonderful desserts and drinks.
For dessert specifically, we have a very Sicilian dessert. Cannoli, have you heard of that?
Yes, of course.
So, and we make our cannoli cream in-house. Actually, my son is the one responsible for the cannoli cream.
Wow.
So he's in charge
Next
of that.
generation.
Yes, that's right.
Wow.
But for adults, for kids, as you know, but for adults, we have, like an Asiago pizza,
Nice.
or a lasagna,
Yeah.
or a baked ziti, which is very New York.
Oh yeah. Nice.
So yeah.
How are you involved in the community? Do you find some community involvement?
Well, that's another way of advertising.
Yeah.
We are huge in fundraising.
That's great.
We had one on Monday for the Yorktown Frisbee team. That just comes fresh in my mind because it just
Yeah.
happened.
Yeah.
But we're having 2 next week. We just did some fundraising for a cause to rebuild a house for a low-income family.
Oh, that's nice.
We do
Wow.
fundraising for AFAC, for
That's
Arlington,
nice. The
you know.
food- yeah, food bank.
Yeah, food bank.
And
We
you-
also do, a lot of times it's regular advertising, rather fundraising for schools,
Yeah.
elementary schools, or
Right.
for a sports team, or, things
Yeah,
like that. We'll
so
do.
that's a great way to advertise.
Yeah.
People will be drawn into here.
Yeah.
So, what are the most popular items do you think that are ordered from Joe's?
Oh, our meat sauce
The meat sauce.
is very popular.
Ah,
The buffet
yeah,
is huge.
yeah.
Our steak and cheese.
Oh, nice.
It's very popular.
Okay.
Um,
Is there an all-you-can-eat menu, something like that?
there's an all-you-can-eat buffet.
Salad. Okay, got it.
And that it's
All right.
there's the salad bar and the hot bar, so you have
Right.
the cold and the hot.
Okay.
And that's very popular. In the
Yeah.
salad bar, there's 30 items, and then on the buffet we have 5 different types of pizza. There's pasta, there's chicken, there's
Right.
breadsticks,
Wow.
meatballs,
It's a nice salad.
and soup.
It's a nice
Yes.
bar.
Yes.
So, and you have plenty of parking, I see. So, you're a really successful restaurant in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
And
We opened in 1986 here in Arlington.
1986, wow. So time has flown.
Yeah.
You've done a great job. Well, thank you so much for having us.
Sure, of course.
And I hope that everybody in Arlington can get to know this place. Please come to Joe's Place Pizza and Pasta.
I'm the one that Hello again, this is Hef Munson. I'm doing another one of those things for everyday Arlington, and where I am standing right now is my little secret. Oh, all right. I'm in Glencarlyn Park. I am now, anyway. Actually, my voice is in post-production, which is why I suddenly sound calmer and somewhat more posh. In the late 19th century, this area was owned by the Carlyn family. The land included 2 old springs of fresh water, which became known as the Carlyn Springs. In the early 1870s, the railroad built a station on the Carlyn Springs property, and around the same time, John Carlyn decided to create an excursion and vacation resort. He bricked in the springs and built a large ice cream and restaurant pavilion, as well as a dance pavilion. Carlyn Springs remained a popular resort for about a dozen years. In 1887, Carlyn Springs was sold. The Carlyn Springs resort buildings were demolished in 1893, and the name of the village was changed to Glencarlyn in 1896. So it goes. The parkland was finally acquired by Arlington County in 1942. Glencarlyn Park has some pretty neat playgrounds. They seem to be fairly recent. However, I remember one feature from the 1960s that is no longer around. High up the hill, on the other side of where the railroad tracks used to be, there were, at one time, a couple of small caves. They were modest little caves, side by side. They didn't seem to be terribly deep, but I never found out for sure because I never went inside. Still, they were there. I can't seem to find them any more. I suppose that some responsible adults decided that they were a dangerous temptation and somehow had them removed. They were right, of course, because otherwise I'd be in there right now. At least one original Carlyn Spring is still there. You can find it by following the W&OD trail south from Arlington Boulevard, then veering right onto the 4-mile run trail. Shortly thereafter, turn left onto a dirt path. The path leads to a small shelter with a bench, and then to a small bridge. Cross the bridge and continue perhaps 20 feet more, then look to your right. Prepare to be a bit disappointed. Drinking from the spring is now officially discouraged, but don't worry, you won't be tempted. Still, it's fun to find. Glencarlyn Park is well worth a visit, and it's yet another part of everyday Arlington.
Greetings, everyone. Craig Nolan here, jumping off the news desk and a chance to do an interview. Thanks for joining us here on the interview set tonight, talking with Jesse Robinson, who is radio coordinator for WERA right here just down the hall. And welcome, Jesse. How you doing?
Thanks, Mr. Nolan. Thank you for having me in the studio.
Nice to see you. Thanks for joining us. I wanted to ask you, first of all, where did it all begin? Where are you from?
Right. Clark County, Virginia.
Clark County, okay.
Yeah, it's about an hour
Can you narrow it down?
It's like an hour and a half west with traffic probably.
With traffic, of course, always.
Yeah, near Berryville, Virginia.
Right.
So my graduating high school class was like something like 50 people and a couple cows.
And a couple of cows.
Yeah.
All right. Did the cows get their diplomas?
They did. Unfortunately, they ate them.
Oh, they ate them. All right.
Yeah. It was a delicious treat.
Wonder how that milk tasted. Okay. Well,
it was smart. It made whoever drank it smart. You know?
Of course. Yeah. Well, thanks for joining us, and we're here to talk about WERA, which is the low-power FM station here at AIM. Beautiful studio in there, and just recently having taken your radio production course, it was fun.
Hey, you weren't that bad of a radio student.
That bad.
Yeah, You got in there and you had
was
that
fun.
great sample show. It was very well done.
I enjoyed it. It was good stuff. So can you tell us a little bit about WERA and what you do there?
Yeah, so as the radio coordinator, I'm in charge of all of the station programming, scheduling, coordination, social media. There's a lot of, I got good at juggling when I signed on.
Really, a lot of
Yeah.
different hats there.
A lot of different hats.
A lot of stuff going on.
Yeah, sometimes there's production work, engineering.
Spinatron. I remember when you told us about Spinatron. That's quite a website.
Yeah, that manages our program schedule on the website too.
That's amazing. That's
So-
quite a website.
So yeah, this is a really exciting station. We started. We had the big launch party in here, December 6, 2015.
I was here.
You were here. I was here. I
was
wasn't on
here.
the staff at that point. I was in the building though with Mr. Hef Munson doing a radio drama.
I have.
Yeah, a little shout out there. We did like a Foley demonstration a couple
Oh.
times, and we recorded the radio
I was
drama.
here, I think, for the Foley demonstration.
Yeah, it was a really fun time, and we've been kind of hitting it hard ever since at the station.
It's
and
going great guns. I think you're getting a lot of interest, a lot of people producing shows and all kinds of shows, and it's a lot to manage. So
it is with
you got your hands full.
well, with re-airs, we're up to over 100 programs
Wow.
on that station schedule.
Produced
Produced
originally
here, yeah.
here.
We have a couple syndicated programs,
Yeah.
which means they send it from elsewhere, but good 95% of our shows are produced in-house by our local Arlington producers,
And
which
about it. So
is really cool.
that is amazing. And about a year and a half on the air.
A
something
year
like
and a
that?
half on the air.
Hard to
yeah.
believe, coming up on 2 years here.
We really grew in the last year.
You have. What else can you tell us about WERA? I mean, other than programming and interest in the station, which has been phenomenal. I think
Right.
it's been great.
Well, people should know that there are multiple ways to tune in. A lot of people, they see low power FM and they're like, oh, well, I can only get it for a couple miles and that's it. Not the case. We have WERA.FM, which is our website, which is streaming
So
the
you're
radio all the
streaming it
time
as well.
And so you can hear the live radio 24/7 from the website, and we also have our on-demand page on the website too, so you can see all of the past recordings of the WERA
You
programs.
can listen to the archival stuff.
Oh, all of them are archived up on the
Beautiful.
site, so you can, much like you would binge a Netflix show, you can binge through radio shows right there on our website. So, and we're also on the TuneIn mobile app.
Oh, wow.
So,
So
yeah.
3 different, I mean,
Yeah.
besides FM,
Right.
out over the airwaves, streaming, and what was the third one?
The TuneIn mobile app.
TuneIn mobile app.
Yeah.
Apps.
So-
Apps are where it's at.
So we're reaching out just
You are.
beyond the community, but we're trying to reach a bigger community.
Is there any chance that over the years you may increase your radiating power at some point and get a bigger transmitter?
Possibly
Push it out there a
in
little
the
further?
future. Our main goal right now is to continue to grow what we have and really master what we
Yeah.
have right now, which I'm still really excited about. So
And you're to a little bit more about your background. You're from around the Winchester area, went to George Mason University and did a little bit of radio there, from what you told me earlier.
right, yep. I was a
Station
radio
manager, right?
Eventually,
In the
yeah.
end.
I was a radio DJ for WGMU. I did
Weren't
a
we
sports.
all? Yeah.
We were. I was a sports talk host
There you
for a
go.
while. I did some music rotation
That
for a
sounds
while,
like fun.
and then I eventually ended up with my show Improv for Mason, which involved listeners sending us a one-word suggestion via Twitter, which we would use to dive into fully improvised.
Plenty of room for expansion
scenes.
there with
Yeah.
one word to work on.
One word, and then someone would usually follow up with a story or what the
Yeah.
word makes them think of, and then we just dive right into long-form improv over the radio.
And you do some improv now on your show. You have a show on WERA. You want to talk
Right.
about that a little bit?
I took a little bit of the flavor from Improv for Mason, and I brought it with me here to WERA. Kind of a new format, though. This show is called the Provcast on WERA.
Sounds familiar.
Right, yep. You can hear it Thursdays from 7:30 to 8 p.m. On WERA. And it's basically a 30-minute one-on-one conversation with a local comedian, actor, or improviser in the area.
Well, that sounds
So
really fun
we
to
talk
produce.
stories, we talk everything, and usually,
Provcast.
yeah, Provcast. Play on podcast and improv together. Well, if people
And,
want to contact me, they can just send me an email to my Arlington Media email address. That's
Which is?
Jesse, Jesse, at arlingtonmedia.org.
Okay.
Or you can just hit me up on Twitter. It's Jesse Robinson94. I try to be funny sometimes.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Well, thanks so much for joining us. And you folks out there in radio and TV land, give WERA a listen,
Oh, yeah.
96.7 LPFM. That's it from here for now. Craig Nolan.
This is Hef Munson talking to you once again about Everyday Arlington, those features that maybe you already knew about, but you forgot were there and are just part of regular life. Most of these things are free. Most of these things you can get to every day. I am standing here at the beginning of all things. This is the starting point of the Washington and Old Dominion Regional Trail. It starts in Arlington and runs all the way out to Purcellville, Virginia. It is quite an adventure. The history of the W&OD Trail is well known to everyone who knows about it. However, for those who don't, it used to be a railroad. It originally ran all the way from Alexandria to Bluemont, Virginia, but it was always beset by problems. Even when it was formed as the Washington and Old Dominion Railway in 1911, the automobile was already gaining popularity as a form of transportation. In the 1930s, the Great Depression forced the organization into bankruptcy. In 1936, the remnants were reformed into a new corporation called the Washington and Old Dominion Railroad. However, by 1939, the Bluemont connection was abandoned and Purcellville became the westernmost stop. The railroad enjoyed a brief resurgence during World War II, but by 1951 it was reduced to a freight-only operation. The W&OD Railroad struggled on for another 17 years before ceasing operations in 1968. The current starting point of the W&OD Trail is the former Cowden Station in South Arlington. It's a great place to begin the 44.8-mile bike ride to Purcellville, but hikers, be warned. The journey of 44.8 miles begins with a whole lot of steps. But not only is this the beginning of the Washington and Old Dominion Trail, it is also a point of additional interest for Arlingtonians because it is located right across the street from the grand old Weenie Beanie.